Everybody at the blue line. McLeod now a drive. He scores! A blue line slap shot from Wyatt McLeod is the game winner for Edmonton here in overtime.
Yeah, no, I think a really exciting group. As a staff here, we're really fortunate to have the guys that we have to work with here every day. They're pretty eager and willing to learn and want to get better every day. So our group right now, we still have some decisions to make in the net, but we have some veteran goaltending and some good prospects there. Our defensive core is an older group that's played in the league, and we got some decisions still, but a real deep defensive core. And then up front, we lost the majority of our scoring last year with our 3 20-year-olds departing and Trey departing, but we really like our young core that we have up there, and it's time for that group to kind of take the next step in their WHL career and raise their production. Sawchuck, obviously the deal was made there to help replace some of the scoring last year and add a veteran centerman up front. On the back end, McDonald had a great year last year with 19 goals and second in defensive scoring for goal scoring last year. And Dylan Miskew acquired last year early in the season. We had some goaltending injuries, and he came in and did everything we asked of him. Ended up playing well for us in the playoffs, winning the Calgary series, and ultimately getting us to the Eastern Conference Final. Yeah, no, as you mentioned, obviously Williams was a guy that we acquired at the deadline, and we still feel he's got a really strong Western League career ahead of him from a production standpoint. Neighbors was a beast for us in the playoffs last year. As long as he continues to develop, we feel he's going to be solid for us again this year. And then, we got a few 19-year-olds and Scott Atkinson, who's a very reliable 200-foot center who can sneakily produce some production. David Cope had a real strong second half of the year last year. From the 01 group, we've got Vladimir Alistrov, who was our second overall pick in the import draft last year, and he had just under a 40-point season. So him being a second-year player now in the league, a little more comfortable in North America, a guy we'll look at. Carter Such, another player, had a great year for us last year, up over 40 points. And through the middle, also Liam Keeler. So we have a real strong group of 01s, 2000s, 02s that, as I said, from a committee standpoint, these guys got to step up, take the next step, and they're veterans in the league now. They're not first-year, second-year players. These guys are getting into their third year for some of them, fourth year for some of them. So it's time for them to be the guys that lead our group. Yeah, Robertson, he's a guy that can play a lot of minutes. He plays in all situations. He runs one of our power play units. He plays on the kill, and like I said, he's up over 25 minutes and can get over that 30-minute mark a game if you really need him to. We got two real veterans at the 19 that are 19 this year, and Ethan Kapp, Wyatt McLeod, both guys at NHL camps right now. Those guys are really solid right down to the stretch last year, and guys who have played a lot of games in this league and really understand how the league works and what they need to do in that position to be successful. Jackson Alexander's a guy we acquired last year in the summer. Unfortunately, had an injury last year that kept him out for majority of the year, but a guy that was a first-round pick in the league. He's been a part of the Hockey Canada program of excellence, so he's a guy that we look to kind of bring into our lineup also and add some more offense. And then Logan Dohaniak's a 16-year-old we kept last year. He's 17 now. He's got to make those next strides in his career. He's known to add a little bit of offense when he was a younger player, but in this league too, him making that next step to produce more offense and continue to play his physical game he plays. And Aiden Lawson, a guy that's 18 for us now, and didn't play a lot last year, but a guy that's a big body, and he can play some minutes as well for us. So as that group, kind of the returning players as a whole, we feel we're pretty comfortable with that group, and a lot of veteran games under their belt. Yeah, it's kind of when you make these decisions, one thing affects a lot of the other things. So it's, as a committee, it's something we talk about here as our hockey ops group and our coaching staff, and it's something that we'll continue to talk about. But right now, we have a bit of a goaltending battle going, but that's good. Competition's good for your group, I think. And as you mentioned, Todd, we have Dylan, who I spoke about already. Todd Scott, he's a player that came over before my time here via the Davis Koch trade to Vancouver. And Todd, he had a bad injury the first half of the year last year. The second half, he played in a backup role for us and played a lot of really good minutes. He also ended up having to go in the Medicine Hat series for us and ended up, playing pretty well and getting us through that first round of the playoffs last year. So a guy that has played well for us when called upon. And as you mentioned, Sebastian Cossa is a former second-round pick of this organization, and he's a guy that's played in Fort Saskatchewan. He's been a part of the Hockey Canada program. He's a really big guy. But no, a good prospect here, and a guy that has a lot of will and want and is ready to make that next step into our league. Yeah, Dylan, anytime you're adding a first overall pick to your lineup, it's obviously as an organization, you're very excited about that. He's a guy that he works extremely hard and plays a 200-foot game, but has a lot of great offensive instincts to him. He's got an unbelievable shot, probably his biggest asset, but his full complete game and his ability to strip pucks off players, make quick passes, quick decisions with the play, and he's got a really good nose around the net for not only playmaking but finding little holes to get himself opportunities to score. So he's had a very good preseason for us here, and if that continues into the regular season, he's going to be a guy that obviously is another guy we'll be looking at to provide some offense for us. But at the same time, it's with any 16-year-old starting in the league, it's not an easy league to play in when you're 16, and sometimes you need patience with those guys, and they need time to get acclimatized to the league. So obviously an exceptional talent and a guy that we feel will have success this year, but at the same time, it can be tough sometimes for 16-year-olds in the league. But with him being a first overall pick, that's hopefully that transition goes a little bit smoother and happens a little bit quicker. Yeah, I think from a division standpoint, I think it's a lot of the teams around the Central Division probably would say the Central Division's it's maybe back a little bit. Last year, it kind of was a little bit of a comeback year maybe for the division. The 2 previous years to that, the division was down, and it was some tough years there. But it seems as a whole, there's going to be a lot of strong teams in our division this year. And just seeing how the race last year went right down to the stretch, and with pretty much 5 teams in the second half of the season fighting and jockeying for position, it's pretty exciting, and it's something probably we expect in the division again this year. But in our respect, the playoff experience definitely helps. A lot of our young guys is getting those playoff games in and getting an opportunity to play in a playoff series against PA and understanding what it's like to go into a small market like that with passionate fans. And that was invaluable experience for those guys, and something that they're carried forward with them, and hopefully it's something that benefits our group in the future.